We do have a great love of epic action animes, with some intense and beautiful fight scenes, but our list of top 10 anime fights that broke the internet, well, that's something else entirely. Great to see you here at Animeology. Today we'll be looking at our absolute favourite anime fights. Keep in mind, we'll avoid spoilers and talk about the anime itself and not get into any details. We try to bring you alternative anime series that you probably haven't seen, but some big names are on here, we just couldn't help ourselves. Now, let's get into some awesome anime series that you need to watch for yourselves. Number 10, Avan vs Hadlar, Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Dai. The Dragon Quest anime series is based on an extremely popular video game series, although it applies that classic anime spin and is nothing like the games at all really. A highly original and unique series set in a brilliantly fleshed out Dragon Quest adventure fantasy universe. The Adventure of Dai focuses on a young orphan boy that dreams of one day becoming a true hero, befriending and saving a princess and slowly surrounding himself with a cast of interesting and unique characters that all serve to further him on his quest. Dragon Quest is a series that offers a lot of awesome and well-created facets that make it a fantastic anime series apart from the insanely awesome fights. What makes the fights in Dragon Quest so brilliant is the constant back and forth. Sure, they may not be as huge or as grand as some other animes out there, you're not seeing planets exploding or anything, but the fights themselves are very grounded and feel very real with the interesting addition of fantasy and magic elements. No fight in the entire series is quite like the Avan vs Handler slugfest, with the balance of power shifting constantly throughout, with the viewers feeling helpless as one of the most likeable characters in the series needed to overcome insurmountable odds just to be able to keep up in one of the most epic fight scenes of all time. Number 9. Belle vs Asterisk. Is it wrong to try and pick up girls in a dungeon?
I want to be a hero!
A hard fantasy and a lot more light-hearted and joyous, this is a series that looks to tell an epic adventure and fantasy story, but isn't afraid of developing a well-designed and fun harem in the meanwhile. But don't be fooled, Danmachi, as it's often referred to, also has some absolutely brilliant fight scenes and action that make it an absolute blast to watch, no matter what you're into. Following the adventures of Belle Cranel, a 14-year-old adventurer that grows stronger and more powerful with each passing battle. The series is set in a fictional village that is situated right next to a dangerous underground dungeon that's filled with dangerous monsters. Adventurers take their chances and defeat these horrific beasts in order to take their crystal shards and other magic treasures. A fun and interesting anime and absolute joy from the very first episode. Although there are some awesome fights, keep an eye out for Belle and Asterisk, a fight scene on a league of their own. Number 8. Zug vs Puppets, Hirito no Shita. All of the fight scenes in this fantastic series are honestly phenomenal. When you check it out, pay close attention. The sort of close-ups and camera work really make the battles feel so intense and so heavy. Alongside some interesting sound design, sometimes we felt like we were getting punched. Following Chao Suran, a normal college student that gets caught up and dragged into a strange world of zombies and the supernatural. Soon learning that the martial arts technique that his grandfather taught him is insanely powerful and has made him a target for attack. And should be clear to see that Hirito no Shita is a series that focuses heavily on some awesome hand-to-hand battles. Zooj taking on these puppets didn't have any buildings collapsing or huge explosions, but was some next level martial arts acrobatic fighting. Heavy punches and kicks, spins and flips. Whew, just talking about it makes me want to check it out again. A brilliant series that is still running. There is no better time to get into Hirito no Shita. Number 7. Yuji and Nobara vs Eso and Kishisu, Jujutsu Kaisen.
私との相性最悪だよ
A phenomenal blend of supernatural in a dark fantasy setting. This is a really new anime series that actually blew us out of the water with how brilliant the action and some of the fight scenes were. The manga is brilliant, but the anime really elevates the visuals of Jujutsu Kaisen to another level. We learn of a world in which beings emit a cursed energy that is fueled by the negative emotions that naturally flow throughout the body. Normal people cannot control the outflow of this cursed energy, and this leaked cursed energy transforms into a curse. These curses are spiritual beings that are horrific monsters that look to bring harm to humanity. Luckily enough, Jujutsu sorcerers are able to control the flow of cursed energy within them and use it to perform high-level magic and battle these beings. Following Yuji Itadori, a high schooler that finds himself dragged into this insane world of cursed creatures and epic battles. The fight scenes in Jujutsu Kaisen are on another level, but the fight against the two cursed brothers is legitimately one of the greatest. Number 6. Yusuke vs Toguro, Yu Yu Hakusho. Although this series is old enough to be your dad's favourite anime, it is frequently cited as one of the greatest animes of all time. We highly recommend you check it out. Alongside a long-running manga and series of films, there is a lot to explore in the Yu Yu Hakusho universe. An awesome mix of martial arts and supernatural abilities make most of the fight scenes of Yu Yu Hakusho an absolute pleasure to watch, creating an awesome atmosphere throughout the entire series, focused heavily on Yusuke, a 14-year-old delinquent that loves a good fight. After literally fighting his way out of hell, he is back on Earth as a supernatural detective, investigating strange supernatural activities and using his next-level martial arts technique. Yusuke is seriously overpowered, and although all his fights are insanely awesome, the epic battle with Toro really was something else. Number 5. Rock Lee vs Gaara, Naruto. Yes, we're sorry, it's hard not to involve Naruto on a list like this, especially the Lee vs Gaara battle. Easily one of the greatest scenes of all time, regardless of what you may think of Naruto as a whole. There are fewer fights with greater stakes and more epic animation than this one. Although Naruto might be one of the modern greats and longest running series of all time, especially in Western anime circles, there does exist a fair few new anime fans that haven't actually checked out the series. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of fillers and a few story arcs that aren't as high quality as we'd like, but you should definitely give Naruto a shot. Following Naruto, a young ninja of the Hidden Leaf Village that looks to become one of the strongest warriors of them all. The series takes us on a whirlwind adventure across the world, exploring countless themes and side stories in an interesting and engaging way. Number 4. Meruem vs Hirito, Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter is actually an absolute classic across the anime scene. One of our personal favourite long-running anime series, Hunter x Hunter expands an absolute epic adventure set against a fantasy world with a heavy focus on martial arts. With a heavy focus on action and storytelling, the Meruem and Naruto fight is renowned. The world of Hunter x Hunter focuses on these hunters, elite trackers that hunt down treasure, beasts, and other people. We follow a young boy, Gon Freaks, on his journey to become an elite hunter, meeting an interesting cast of characters and departing on some of the best story arcs we've ever come across. This is seriously one of the longest running anime series with the least amount of filler. Universally loved, with a manga running from 1998 and 2 highly successful anime television series for you to get into. It's clear to see why Hunter x Hunter is universally loved. The epic fights, of course. Number 3. Sai vs Toya Meijin, Haruka no Go. Epic anime fights don't need to have huge swords and insane levels of magic. Fights, flying, everywhere. No, sometimes the greatest anime battles are a lot more slow-paced and masterful. This is the case with one of the most epic anime fights we've ever seen, the Sai vs Toya in Haruku no Go. Go is an ancient strategy board game that is huge around East Asia, extremely complex and a legitimate thinking man's game, considered one of the oldest board games to ever be played. There is a huge Go scene, and Haruku no Go brings us an awesome coming-of-age sports anime with a fun supernatural twist set against that backdrop. Our MC, Haruku, comes across a Go board haunted by a long-deceased Go master, acting as a host for the spirit that wishes to return to playing Go and attain the divine move, the perfect play. We slowly start to realise that Haruku himself is also naturally gifted and a highly skilled Go player himself. As we said, these aren't buildings exploding and huge destruction level battles, but the Go battles between players in Haruku no Go is brilliantly done, with some absolutely breathtaking visuals and some very stylish dialogue. Highly recommended, a thinking man series for sure, you will not regret it. Number 2, All Might vs All for One, My Hero Academia. One of the biggest anime series currently running with over 100 episodes so far, My Hero Academia blends some fantastic elements of science fiction, fantasy and superhero genre, throwing it all together in a school setting and playing around with some classic anime tropes. My Hero Academia is set in a world where most people actually have superpowers. With so many superpowers, it's insanely rare to actually find two people with the same power. Although everyone has powers, only a few are truly heroes, people that use their power for good and help with catching villains. Although there was a lot of hype early on, this series has taken a bit of a backseat since the first episode aired in 2016. But definitely stick with it because the fight scenes only get more epic and iconic. The All Might vs All for One is easily our favourite fight, but we can't wait for the next season because we're sure the fights are going to be better. There's a lot to get into here, from a long-running anime series, a highly successful manga and a few anime films. It may feel like you're a bit late, but there's really no better time to get into My Hero Academia. And number 1, Levi vs Beast Titan, Attack on Titan. One of the most well-known anime series out there right now, Attack on Titan is famous for its insanely gruesome imagery and unbelievably slow release time. Seriously, even the actual manga takes ages to come out. Set in a horrific post-apocalyptic world with an interesting dark fantasy flavour, there is a constant sense of dread and grimness that makes Attack on Titan a truly unique series. Alongside some epic storytelling and a brilliantly strong foundation of intertwining tales, it is easy to see why Attack on Titan will go down in history as one of the greats. All of the brilliant fight scenes and epic destruction, our favourite fight was easily between Levi and the Beast Titan. Sometimes, when I close my eyes, I can still see that epic battle.